Audio on, video on, action. Okay, let's do this one more time. A little technical glitch. Yeah, so let's check out the Paralegal Institute at Washington, D.C. Ilhan is running scared, and Ilhan Omar is implicated in a fraud scheme again. More suspects, fraud, facing justice. So it's just a matter of time that Ilhan Omar is going to get caught for evil deeds, whether she is behind or in front of the political realm. Let's just say that she is involved, allegedly, with all these schemes, but we don't know how she made all of a sudden 3.5 or $35 million in a matter of 1 year. So, there's a lot of shenanigans going on, especially when it comes to the Minnesota, where Nick Shirley pretty much, and I forget the other person who pretty much blew the lid on what was going on in Minnesota. But anyway, let's just check out Paralegal Institute of Washington and listen to what he has to say, because this should be pretty interesting of what scheme is being implicated now. So anyway, check it out.
Hey, go ahead and hit that like button, my people. It helps us out a ton.
My people.
And of course it helps you, because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day.
Okay.
Now, y'all, did you think that the fraud in Minnesota was almost coming to an end? If you did, well, you would probably have been wrong, y'all. Just today, another $5 million fraudster is going to court for their dirty deeds, or we can say alleged dirty deeds in this
allegedly
case. And so, y'all, I think that we're going to continue to see dozens of more people going to court, even being caught, y'all. And who knows what the astronomical number of all the fraud, when it's all totaled up, what it will be. Some have speculated it might be up to $9 billion or more. So we're going to take a look at that today, y'all. And also, sticking with the theme of the Somalis. Now, y'all, I'm not picking on the Somali community. Every community has its criminals, okay?
Yep.
But we're going to stick with that theme today. And a sheriff there in Minnesota is calling out Somali gangs, y'all. He's saying, we got a gang problem in this state with people of that persuasion. Now, again, not picking on them. There are gangs of all races, colors, creeds, sizes, shapes. But that's what we're talking about today, y'all. And also, don't forget that your girl, Ilhan Omar, is currently in hot water, as her office has had contact with, it looks like, various fraudsters, y'all. Do you think there's a affair there? Do you think there might be any kind of dirty deeds there? Well, we'll let you be the judge, y'all. But first, let's start with this $5 million fraudster who's due in court today. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
Today, 2 defendants.
Well, you just see what's going on. These commercials anyway, but how she's going to get out of this. But she's definitely
bilking the state out of millions of dollars with fraudulent child care payments.
More millions of dollars.
Set to appear in court. Our Kelsey Christensen is joining us live this morning.
So, Kelsey, we do know that one of the defendants was also recently charged as part of that massive Feeding Our Future fraud case.
Yeah, that's right. And in total, Fahima Mahamud is accused of receiving around $5.5 million in reimbursements. So in the Feeding Our Future
$5 million
with wire fraud that does involve
How do you get away with $5 million? And how do you wire that into the bank without the government not knowing where the money is going, unless they don't keep an eye on that? But the banks has got to know, central banking. Whatever banking you're involved, like you're putting $5 million, it just doesn't make sense. Like somebody's getting paid off, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's in the banking system, the political realm, or someone in between.
Money back for food meant to go to children during the pandemic. And now she's the first person charged in connection with Minnesota's Child Care Assistance Program fraud. So the 50-year-old pictured right here is accused of lying about collecting required co-payments from parents whose children were enrolled in her daycare. That's future leaders, yielding in millions of dollars. She's now facing one count of conspiracy to defraud the United States. And guys, remember, just this spring, federal authorities served 22 search warrants at both autism and childcare centers around the state. Wow. Her site was not named by officials specifically. She and another defendant in a separate case involving a daycare as well are set to appear in federal court this morning, and they could both be on the verge of making a deal with prosecutors here in downtown Minneapolis. We'll be watching it and let you know what happens.
Y'all, when will it end? Is there end? There's no end in sight. That's what I'll say. And now, y'all, let's turn our attention to the Somali gangs that are over there in Minnesota. Now, as y'all already gave my disclaimer, right? I don't want y'all to think I'm picking on anybody, but we're just going to stick with this theme. A local sheriff there in Minnesota says, Minneapolis, St. Paul, we've got a problem.
After a violent holiday weekend, we have the Ramsey County Sheriff who says something has to be done about Somali gangs in the metro. Sheriff Bob Fletcher says the first step is calling out the problem and then trying to get a grip on it. Our Karen Scullin explains more on the violence and what's being done about it.
The Ramsey County Sheriff says this is not an effort to target the Somali community, but rather save young boys within the community that are choosing a gang life that is becoming increasingly dangerous. A number of shootings and a homicide over the 4th of July weekend involving Somali gangs. On Wilson Street in Minneapolis, the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office says a Wilmer soccer coach was killed as part of Somali gang violence, but the problem didn't start there.
This last weekend we were at the Juice Time in Arden Hills. There was 300 young Somali kids there, and some of them were gangsters. And we had a number of us law enforcement officers there that curtailed their activity. But 2 hours later, they were shooting someone over in northeast Minneapolis, same group.
Fletcher and his investigators say Somali gang violence is growing fast and spans the metro, with 12 Somali gangs from Minneapolis and St. Paul to St. Cloud to Apple Valley and Burnsville. Ramsey County tracking the violence within the Somali community. The majority of it is gun violence.
Yes, we had an incident over the weekend in Minneapolis where an innocent young man from Woodbury was shot, and he's in the hospital right now fighting for his life, and it's causing a lot of problem for the community.
And finally, y'all, don't forget that your girl, Ilhan Omar, her office has had contact with various of these different fraudsters, y'all. There are still calls for investigations into her and her potential connection, particularly with Feeding Our Future. But so far, she's been able to get away. She's been able to get out of everything, y'all. And get out of all this and come out of all this, I would say, pretty much unscathed.
So Ilhan Omar's possible ties to a massive Minnesota fraud scheme are back in the spotlight. That after one of the scheme's alleged orchestrators was arrested in Somalia just last week. Garrett Tenney's watching that. Midwest Bureau with more. What details do you have now, Garrett? Hello there.
Hey, Bill, good morning to you. This guy who was arrested was allegedly one of the orchestrators of the massive Feeding Our Futures fraud scheme. And when he was charged 4 years ago, Abdulkarim Idle fled the country. His name came up a lot during the trial of the now convicted ringleader of the scandal, Amy Bach. And that trial also exposed multiple communications they had with Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's staff. For example, in February 2021, there was an email chain between Bach and Omar's office with the subject line, "Help with USDA food programs," the same programs that were targeted by the fraudsters for more than $250 million. A couple weeks later, Bach sent Idle an email with the subject line, "Ilhan's office." There was also a string of text messages between Bach and Omar's staff. What did all of those messages say? Well, we don't know that because they were sealed by the court. And when Minnesota lawmakers investigating the fraud requested Congresswoman Omar to turn those records related to her office's contacts with individuals who've been charged or convicted in the scheme, she refused.
Of course she's going to refuse because she knows she's guilty. What else she's going to say? All her fingerprints are on the, pretty much behind what's going on with the fraudster, and she's got her minions getting caught. So it's a matter of time one of those people are going to rat her out, and we'll just see which one in the community, because what is it, Bach just got 30 years or something like that, when there's more under the food chain that's involved as well too. But Omar is the head honcho, is the ringleader, because, you know, just the way it is. Anyway, check it out. Let's read some more. Oops.
Was caught up in this. You know, the fraud that she herself promoted, y'all. Let's take a look. Guhad Hassi Saeed, a former aide to Representative Ilhan Omar, has pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering in connection with the federal child nutrition program. Okay, it doesn't say which one. Prosecutors allege Saeed participated in a scheme to falsify meal. This must be Feeding Our Future. Y'all, we've made so many videos on Feeding Our Future. Prosecutors allege Saeed participated in a scheme to falsify meal counts in order to illegally obtain government funds, profiting from the misappropriation of aid intended for children. Oh, this is a man. His guilty plea was part of a broader multi-defendant Feeding Our Future investigation. Now, y'all, we've done so many reports on this. Ilhan Omar herself, actually, in her, I would say her official capacity as a representative, she promoted this $250 million fraud. And now here, just today, one of her staffers has pleaded guilty? Pleaded guilty. So did she know? Prosecutors allege that Saeed and others had submitted inflated meal counts and falsified paperwork to claim federal child nutrition program reimbursements. Ooh, y'all think they might be getting close to... He pleaded guilty. Did he have to give us some information? I'm not even going to go off and speculate on that. Not even going to speculate on that. Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph H. Thompson stated Saeed purported to operate a federal child nutrition program site under the name Advanced Youth Athletic Development. Saeed incorporated that company on February 26, 2021 and listed its registered office at a residential apartment unit in Central Avenue Lofts, an apartment building in Northeast Minneapolis. Woo, this is close to Ilhan Omar, y'all. So yeah, y'all, the fraud uncovering continues. The fraud trials continue. I would imagine the fraud continues. All the while you've got roving gangs and a sitting United States congressperson who many believe might have been involved in the fraud, but nothing's being done about it. Or that which is being done is futile because she's been able to block all investigation into her, apparently. So let me know, y'all, what do you think? How much do you think all of this fraud actually amounted to? And do you think Ilhan Omar will face any consequences? Drop a comment down below.
Well, my 2 cents is she should, because all roads lead to Ilhan, allegedly, and it's just a matter of time that someone's going to rat her out that she is the head ringleader. But for some reason, it's either they're keeping it under wraps or they're just letting her go to do still do her evil deeds, but she's being tracked and surveilled by the the white hats. And let's just see in the next couple of months, couple of weeks to a couple of months, maybe to the end of this year, to see if anything's going to be done about it, because she does have a lot of power in her seat, but it's just a matter of time that she is going to get caught. Let's just put it that way. And I don't know why they're not even dragging her to fucking jail right now. She should be. If it was me and if it was you or one of us normal folks trying to earn a living, you'd be gone. It's just a matter of who you are and who you know, and she's in the political realm and she is protected. Like Spencer Pratt say, they are protected. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll have more videos, commentary, and this channel, and covering the political realms, but not so much with POTUS 45, 46, because Shadowban sucks. I'm trying to get myself out of Shadowban world, and algorithms, trying to beat the algorithms to get back into the swing of things. Guys, thanks for watching. God bless, Godspeed, and we will see you in the next podcast vlog. Bye for now.